Thank God it's Wednesday. Thanks God it's Wednesday. Hello, everybody. From Redondo Beach, California on September 3rd, 2025. September 3rd, this will be a garden review. Some of you have already deleted the channel after hearing that it's going to be yet another garden review. But I like to do these garden reviews every time I revisit Redondo Beach, so you can see some of the things that have taken place, some of the things that have changed per se. It's a beautiful 78 degrees with a slight breeze out of the west and towards the east, coming up from the south and merging with the north, making it just a beautiful combination of breeze. You're looking at the world map, the earth as we know it, the different countries that make up the world. And I guess you can, in a nutshell, call this the warring planet. If Martians came to Earth, they would probably be astonished and wonder why everybody is trying to kill one another. Anyway, let's go into the garden and let's start this. I've got a couple of items of interest, not too many. And let's go. We're off the deck now, and I don't know how well these images are going to come through with the sun is bright on a cloudless day here in Redondo Beach, California. Again, this presentation is mainly for the horticulturists out there, the novice, just like myself. Look how giant, look how just large this pine tree has gotten. You can remember how terribly tiny it was. And this was just a garden tree in a 5-gallon container or less. And now it's just reaching for that beautiful blue sky, and in the background, the beautiful of the again. I'm not going to try to butcher these nomenclatures of these plants because I simply cannot remember them, and you can remember them just as well. I'll go through this as quickly as I can. I trimmed this considerably. This had the mite, and I'll show you the mite again. This is the olive tree that's been severely cut back. It was, all the leaves were removed. I don't know if you were able to see that image, but all the leaves were removed because of the mite, and it's grown back quite nicely. This one is coming good. And of course, this one is starting to look its age, as you can see, but that's okay. This is what happens. Nothing lasts forever. Now, I have this out here to show you this. This is the mite. I had the scale, the SCALE. Sam, Chloe, Alpha, Lincoln, Edward, and that was infested. See the scale, all those white, looks like anthrax. That's what was all over the olive tree, and that's why it was severely cut back. And now I've decided to go a different direction. So I'll just go over here very slowly, if I may, and just show you some of the wonderful things that are happening here in the little, you could call this a container gardening. This is container gardening, of course. None of this stuff is in the ground except for the this beautiful specimen right here. Oh, God, I wish I could give you the right nomenclature, but I simply cannot, and I don't want to take a lot of time. I want to make this as natural a presentation as I always do. I like to feel like I'm talking to regular people, and regular people don't sweat the small stuff. Just wonderful. This was the one that was off the street, that was given up for dead, coming back. Beautiful. This was just cut yesterday, trimmed, if you will. Look how I like to accent. The thing you want to do is you want to accent the branches and the branching. Gives you a more interesting perspective. If you don't trim back real hard, what you have is just a bush. You might get something like this, and you see no branching, you see no, so you don't see any structure. So that's why I elected to cut this back as severely as I did. And you can see it gives it quite a new perspective to the viewing, or the naked eye, as they say. Here's your Gecko tree, which I'm considering cutting it straight this way. I'm not happy with the branching, so we'll continue to work with that in the years to come. And this is the specimen, I guess the star of today's. These are beautiful solar lights that I was given to me by my sister Terry. And these light up at night, and it really pops, and it shadows the stonework at the bottom. And this is what I elected to do with this tree. Cut it back severely so you can see the branch structure. And they'll thicken up. Look how thick they are from previous presentations. And I'm just gonna keep it on a short leash, as they say, because I don't want that mite to come back, or that scale, that white scale. And then we've got another wonderful lantern type. I mean, this is all natural. This is not made in a factory. This is all sun, soil, and H2O. And this is what you get. You get something that's just eloquent in its own natural way. Again, a lot of this stuff bothers people, bores people, but to me it's just as exciting as our own bodies and the complexities of our own bodies. People don't realize they're walking around with the most complex apparatus, if you will. This one's coming back nice. That was looking like it was on its last leg, and it was cut back severely. Now it's just one shoot. And you can just have fun with this. You can just have fun with your plants. Some will die, some will perish, some will thrive. This one looks like it's not doing as well as it has in the past, but it may just be dormant now earlier in the season. This one will not be discarded. This will be given a chance. Give them a chance. Give them a while before you claim them dead, as they say. Now you can see how I'm trimming this just so it doesn't get in the way of the walkway. So it'll just go as much as you want it to go in the direction that you want it to go. Look at that. Very nice. Maybe if it gets large enough, it'll give us more shade back here. Partial shade is, I think, the most important shade that we have. This one is still doing very well, with little to no care all these years. This is the one that my sisters gave me for a birthday gift a number of years ago. And it's still doing just quite well. And that's a form of a juniper. They are the hardiest ones. So I'm moving about, moving around. This one is thriving. Look at the way this is thriving. Wasn't sure how this was going to come out, and this is what it wound up to be. So it can be whatever you want it to be. Now this one is thriving. Now I hadn't been in California since In the spring, I think I left for Austin, and now I'm back, so I always like to give you an update. Look at the way this one is thriving. Look at the little cones on those. Can you see the little pine cones? Let me see if I can give you another. There it is. So this is interesting. Little pine cones. I can tell you that they're doing very, very well. Look at the way that's going. This is the specimen that was given to me by a resident in Manhattan Beach when I worked there. And I put it in this decorative large bonsai pot, and it's doing very well. This is from Victor Simmons, my co-worker at United Airlines. He's retired now. Congratulations, Victor, on your retirement. He made this with the 3D printer. That's a 3D printer apparatus right there. Some of that famous bamboo. So we'll just move right along. My sister Mary Ann's Christmas trees, thriving. This is something I got a long time ago, and it is still thriving. And some volunteers. Now this is one that it was a cutting, and it's still coming pretty good. Look at the little cutting. I think I should put this someplace where it's going to straighten out the trunk, perhaps. But it's doing very, very well. Sometimes, even if you put that rooting hormone, they still don't take. And this one is certainly taken very well. You can see the trunk is thickening up pretty good. So that's nice to see. In 1609, Henry Hudson, working for the Dutch Indian Company, the Dutch East Indian Company, was looking for routes to India and wound up in New York City and discovered the Hudson River. And to this day, it's named in his name, the Hudson River in Manhattan. Here's your olive, still doing very well. Back then, of course, their navigation skills were, to say the least, prehistoric. And here he was looking for an Indian passageway to India because they were busy colonizing India for all its resources and its labor. And he wound up in New York City and discovered what we now call the Hudson River, and that was in 1609. This is my favorite right here. Simple as can be. And if you notice these trees, any trees in the wild or trees anywhere, they're just like human beings. Both arms are the same length, the same branches are the same width. Everything is uniform and correct. Just like you wouldn't have one arm longer than the other, or a normal person wouldn't have one leg longer than the other. Just like a tree or a plant, more or less the same length on either side. This is one of my favorite right here. And the reason it's my favorite is the simplicity of it. And also, if you look at the trunk real close, you can see it looks like it's been here 100 years. And that's what you're trying to get. You're trying to get that look in your bonsai. The look of age. It's the only thing where age is not a problem. So far, many human beings do not want to embrace their age. They replace their teeth and they replace the color of their hair with dyes of all different shapes and sizes and colors. And they go under the knife of various, this one is still doing very good, various enhancements, tucks, and they're not particularly interested in embracing the age. And I think to embrace your age, no matter what that age is a very, very good place to be. I mean, if you're 72, do you really want to look 25? just like a bonsai, you want that character, those years of hardship and cheer to reflect that face. Do you want to mask your face with an artificial face? Embrace your age, just like a bonsai tree would, or does, or we try to do. This one looks like it needs some fertilizer. There's no doubt about it, but it's still hanging in there, and that's all because of my fault, my neglect. But here is a good example of seeing the branch structure. See, that's what you want. You want to see foliage, but you'd want to see the branch structure. Look at that. Isn't that something? If you're interested in it. This one is good. These are all cuttings from the original plant. Where is the original plant? Right here. This is the original one. And these were cuttings taken from this one. You've seen these before if you've been watching the channel at any length. And these are, look at the big trunks. These things are starting to come. Look at the big, big trunks. And these are just cuttings. So cuttings are successful. You just have to be patient. And if they do not take and they perish, you can try it again. And you can continue to try it again as long as you have the time, the energy, the passion, the willingness to try again. Here's another one with some dead leaves here. This has got a unique shape to it, but then again, this probably needs some fertilizer of some kind, but it's been neglected. Now, these are 3 new additions to the collection. This one was bought at John's Market grocery store. And these 2 were bought in Chinatown just yesterday, and I thinned them out a bit so you can see the branch structure. You want to be able light to get into all the branches. Otherwise, if there's no light and the branches are obstructed by other branches, that branch will eventually die. So sun, soil, and H2O. 3 ingredients that make a plant thrive. And these were trimmed up a little bit, and these are some nice specimens. So as specimens perish or live their life span, we replace them with new specimens. And these are 3 new specimens that I'm very excited to have. In 1783, the Treaty of Paris was signed between the United States and France. This was a treaty during the American Revolution. The United States was looking for help. It needed weapons, it needed gunpowder, it needed guns, it needed uniforms, it needed a lot of things. But France was reluctant to help out because there's another olive that's just hanging in there. It's just hanging in there. It's alive. It's showing its age. It's not afraid. It's not going to go out and get plastic surgery. It's not going to dye itself a different hair color. It's not going to replace its teeth. It's just going to be what it's going to be on this beautiful blue planet. So they signed a treaty, that at least if they weren't going to help out at that point when they signed the treaty, that they perhaps would in the future once the tide had turned and America started to win some key battles. But up to this point, they were reluctant to get involved and supply the United States with any real help. But that did, I believe, changed a bit. But this was just to ensure that they were... You've seen this one before. This is the boxwood. Oh, this is the your succulent family, of course. Here's one just living. Look at that. Just look at that. The age of that trunk just hanging in there. Here's another boxwood. I got a boxwood in Austin now. I'm very proud of. Here's your thorn. Your thorn. Circle of thorns or head of thorns. Thorn something. I can't remember right now. Just succulents. And they can be in all sorts of shapes. Let's spin around. We got 20 minutes. So the Treaty of Paris was signed in 1783. In 1894, the first legal holiday was a legal holiday On today's date, September 3rd, 1894, the first Labor Day was celebrated. And it was a totally different country then than it is today. More succulents. Another boxwood from cutting. I don't know if you can see it with the sun. The ambulance in the background. The lamb's tail, the lamb's skin here, very nice. Got a cactus here. We'll come back over here, some more succulents, some more cacti, some more, what do you call this? You can put this in your food. Again, I just can't stop and remember. My mind is spinning out of control with toxic food and beverages of all sorts. And jelly donuts and peanut butter and jelly on toast with chocolate milk. That reminds me, I have chocolate milk in the house that I haven't had yesterday. I bought it yesterday and forgot about it, but I have not forgotten about it now. And these are some more cacti type ones. And so there it is. So this shows you, if anything, this little garden shows you that you can have a garden too. No matter how small, you can have a garden too. And you can have fun with it. There's something getting started over here. I guess Rose is starting something over there, some rose bushes. Okay, let's move along. We've got another one of these diehards. It's hard to kill these things, I tell you that. You've seen this before, it's getting bigger and bigger. This was removed and cut, as you can see, and then now we have a new shoot. What else do I got over here to show you? Just a little, in 1971, Qatar was gained its independence from the United Kingdom, England. You know, pick a name. They like to confuse everybody with different names. Another colonization that ended in 1971 for Qatar from the United Kingdom, so that was nice. In 1976, the Viking 2's Mars mission finally accomplished its goal after about a year and a half or a year of travel to Mars, landed on Mars and took a bunch of great photographs and told us little or nothing about Mars. I don't know. It's a planet that might have been a planet at some time, but right now it is I guess a hell landscape of hot temperatures or cold temperatures with nothing but rocks and uninhabitable by any standards. But there must be something up there that they're so interested. Here's your pencil cactus just hanging in there. Look at the trunk on the pencil cactus, just like a tree trunk. So this would be considered a tree in the wild. 1875, happy birthday to Ferdinand Porsche, his birthday, the famous automobile manufacturer Porsche. So I'm just moving it back along here, just very slowly. You can pick up some images. Here's some more cuttings that took. Here's 1 and 2, 3, and of course the big one, 4. So you've got 3 little bonsais coming up that can be replaced, repotted, and there you go. So if you're budget orientated, make cuttings of what you have. You can steal cuttings from various places that don't cause too much trouble, you know, and repot them when you get home to your private residence. And there you go. So I'm moving on out. Happy birthday to Mr. Porsche. When was it? 1875. Nice cool breeze. I'm just backing it up so you can see what I'm seeing in real time. This was given to me, a little plant in Manhattan Beach. Look at it now. I don't know what the hell it is, but look at it now. Even if it gets root, look at those roots. It's just what they just, there's another money tree. This was the one that was outside the beauty parlor in Redondo Beach, and I said, can I have that? Geez, I think this was $85, $75, but look at the way it's going like crazy, like gangbusters. So it likes it right here. Combination of sun and shade underneath the carport. So it's found its place. Another money tree. This one is doing thriving in the shade. Look how green it is, thriving. Here's another ficus. There are many different kinds of ficus species. That is one of them. This is one that was picked up yesterday. This is your desert rose, which is going to be beautiful when that starts. That'll be transplanted into this at the bottom, and remember to have drainage holes under your pots. Here's another one that was picked up, I think, at a supermarket and trimmed pretty good. Give all these branches the freedom and light that they need. So that's a nice one. You can make bonsais out of these things. Like I said, if you don't, what you get is just a bush. And you don't want a bush. Bush is fine if you want to block somebody's view. But if you want to make a bonsai, you want to really show those branch structures. Here's your another succulent right here. Look at that nice little succulent. Very common. You see these all over the place. All over the place. Look at the poinsettia, still going strong. This is from last year. Could have been 2 years. Who knows? I'm not sure, but I know it's definitely last year's poinsettia, and it's still doing well. And the rubber plant, of course. So we're coming to the end now. This is the artificial one. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows everything, but nobody's speaking about it. And nobody wants to say anything to bring anybody together. If you notice that? Everybody knows everything, and everybody's talking, but nobody's talking about love. And that probably drives a lot of people crazy, that word love, because when you have it, you don't have anger, and you don't have hatred, and you don't have racism, and you don't have division. It's easier to hate and judge than it is to just love. And I hate to preach, and I'm not really preaching, but I mean, it's getting to the point. I mean, everybody's got a microphone, but nobody is saying anything to bring anybody together. And it's too bad. Some roses right here. And I'm just gonna come out to the front and finish this presentation up, I guess. Just wanted to give you a garden update in September. Here's another one of these most common, beautiful succulents. Again, I know what it is. I just can't remember the name. Here's some nice flowers from the cacti. And then here is this bad boy that's gonna need a trim up soon, but still doing very well, very well. I think I told you in China, these things are all over the place in bigger pots than these, just huge. And spin around. This bad boy has still not had a buyer yet. I guess they're asking much too much. Now this I had to show you because this is a lot of fun. Every time I come back to Redondo Beach, this gets bigger and bigger and just wants to come right out of the pot. And look at the way the roots are just driving this thing right out of the pot. And to take it out and cut the bottom roots and put it back in is just a big job that I'm not prepared to undertake. So I'm gonna let nature take its toll. Look how fresh it is. Look how healthy it is. Even though it's coming out of the pot. So that's nice. That's what I like about horticulture. It's just like our bodies. When you cut yourself, or you break a bone, or you have an operation or a surgery, how efficiently you heal and you move on to the next diagnosis, perhaps. This is the front of the dwelling. And of course, these things are coming in. I threw these in here. These will be nice when they come outside the pot, perhaps, and come on over the top of the rim. Look at the wheel. Look at the base of this damn thing. God. This is, and again, these were put here so cars, would not back into the residence. Sort of like a safety patrol, So that's it. I'm going to close it out here. I hope you enjoyed this garden presentation on September 3rd, 2025, 78 degrees. If you want, I hate saying it. I never say it, but I'm going to say it today because I'm coming up to 10,000 subscribers. That would be fun to get 10,000. If you want to subscribe and you haven't done so, you can do that if you want. But again, I'm not forcing anybody to do anything that they're not comfortable doing. I won't mention it again for a while, I guess. I just hate it when I hear them telling people to subscribe. You know, who wants to hear that every time they have a video? So let's just go over the items of interest. It's a half an hour, 31 minutes so far. 1609, Henry Hudson discovered the Hudson River, named after him. He was looking for the Dutch East Indian Company route to Asia, India, and he got lost, because that's what happens when you're driving around in a sailboat in 1609. You will get lost. 1783, the Treaty of Paris. You can Google that and find all the particulars about that. 1894 was the first Labor Day celebration. They made it a legal holiday on this date, September 3rd, 1894. Qatar gained its independence from United Kingdom in 1971. In 1976, the Viking 2's Mars landing occurred, and we know little or nothing more about Mars than we did before it landed and spent all that treasure. 1875 is Fernandez Porsche's birthday. So I release one of these presentations on Sunday mornings in the order that they are produced, and that's what you're seeing, and that's what you'll see. So I hope you enjoyed this particular garden review with some additions. And of course, one of the main additions is the olive tree that was severely cut back, debugged from the scale, de-leafed, and came back to give us a lot of enjoyment for many time to come. So that's it for now. Enjoy your garden, start a garden, be interested, and try to focus on what's important in your life, because there's a lot of distraction, there's a lot of noise, and there's a lot of negative behavior as well as communication to distract you from what is really, really important, which is you and your place on this beautiful blue planet.